Well, the shockwaves are spreading in a major diplomatic standoff between Canada and India. The Canadian government says a top Indian diplomat was connected to the killing of a Sikh separatist leader on Canadian soil last year. Now, it has expelled him, and it also expelled other Indian officials earlier this week. Then came the reaction from New Delhi. India has rejected the accusations, and it has also expelled Canada's top envoy, as well as 5 other Canadian diplomats.
Happy handshakes in front of the camera, but behind the doors, tensions have been escalating. The diplomatic row between India and Canada began over the assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar on Canadian soil last year. Canada says it has credible evidence of the Indian government's direct involvement in the June 2023 killing.
As the RCMP Commissioner stated earlier, they have clear and compelling evidence that agents of the Government of India have engaged in and continue to engage in activities that pose a significant threat to public safety. This includes clandestine information gathering techniques, coercive behavior targeting South Asian Canadians, and involvement in over a dozen threatening and violent acts, including murder.
Hardeep Singh Nijjar was a Canada-based Sikh leader designated as terrorist by India. The Indian government has increasingly accused Justin Trudeau's administration of giving a free hand to Sikh separatists who want to create an independent Sikh homeland known as Khalistan. Canada is home to the largest Sikh diaspora outside India. Delhi has rejected the Canadian government's claims of its involvement in Nijjar's assassination. The government of India strongly rejects these preposterous imputations and ascribes them to the political agenda of the Trudeau government that is centered around vote bank politics. India's anxieties about Sikh separatist groups have long been a strain on its ties with Canada. Now, recent tit-for-tat expulsions of each other's top diplomats mark a new low in a historically cordial relationship.
Well, for more now, I want to bring in Jaskaran Sandhu. He's a board member of the World Sikh Organization, and he joins us from Brampton, Canada. It's good to have you with us. We're very happy that you have time to talk with us today. I'd like to begin by just getting your take on what we're looking at here. I mean, at face value, we're talking about a murder case that has quickly turned into a diplomatic row, with India accusing the Canadian Prime Minister of playing politics here. Do you understand how this is possible?
The only people playing politics here is India. Just today, the UK government, in addition to the US government yesterday, have both implored India to start taking part in the investigation. We have also heard through the RCMP's press conference on Monday and further statements from the Prime Minister of Canada and other ministers of his cabinet that this is not a simple diplomatic row between two countries engaging in an equal, morally tit for tat. India has been found to be working with its own organized crime units to engage in transnational repression against the Sikh community. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to state that again because just how ludicrous and crazy that sounds, but it's real. India has unleashed organized criminals and crimes and gangs in Canada to undermine the Canadian community, the Canada and the Sikh Canadian diaspora, with the intent of killing Sikh activists. Well, this is what we're dealing with in Canada right now.
Well, there are a couple of things to unpack there, but let's assume what you're saying is true. What does that tell us then about the reach of what has been until now, seen as an emerging but still a regional power? I mean, India is behaving like it's one of the big boys, if you will, isn't it?
Yeah, look, there's two big boy groups. There's the West, which includes countries like the UK and the US. And then there's countries like Russia and China and Iran which have historically acted in this nature, engaging in transnational repression and foreign interference. This is India, a supposed democratic country, engaging in extrajudicial and extraterritorial violence against against Canada. This is a democratic country going rogue. They're engaging with what is nothing less than state-sponsored terrorism. They're unleashing violence against the Sikh Canadian community, against Canada. They've been pushing disinformation targeting Canada. We've heard that through the public inquiry into foreign interference ongoing right now in Ottawa. Right. But they've also been using, again, criminal gangs. I know this sounds crazy, but they're using criminal gangs to undermine Canada.
It's almost schizophrenic for people who may not be following Indian foreign affairs closely. But if you consider it wasn't that long ago when we saw Narendra Modi in Washington, D.C. at the White House, at a state dinner, he was welcomed by President Biden. And now you're saying that just north of the border, he's responsible for state-sponsored extrajudicial killings.
Yeah, and this is not just in Canada. It was not that long ago. I think it's only about 6 months ago or so. I could have the time wrong, but just recently in the last year, the U.S. unsealed an indictment against an individual named Nikhil Gupta, an Indian national that was paid by Indian government agents to assassinate Sikh American activists. And it was through that unsealed U.S. indictment that we learned that the transnational repression and assassination program in America being unleashed by India is connected to the one happening in Canada. Mm-hmm. And this is India acting recklessly.
Well, how do you think?
It's not like they did a fine job of this. Like they left breadcrumbs everywhere, and they've been totally exposed in multiple democratic liberal democracies. Like Canada, the United States, and arguably in the United Kingdom and Australia as well.
We haven't heard
spies and agents.
We haven't heard a big international outcry, have we? And the silence, though, has a message, doesn't it?
Look, you did see the Americans say yesterday that they are imploring India to take part in this investigation, and it had clearly said that to date India hasn't. So it's not like there's a good faith effort from India and they just haven't found anything. The UK government today also shared that they're seeking India to participate in the investigation.
Do you think there should be more
all together on this?
Do you think there should be more there? Do you think Washington? Do you think the European Union? Do you think Berlin? Should they be more direct in demanding that an explanation come from New Delhi?
Yes, because by not pushing India on this and getting a response from India on this and getting a serious answer on this, what you're doing is you're enabling India to engage in this type of transnational repression across the Western world. That includes Europe. There's a large Sikh diaspora in countries like the United Kingdom, but also a growing one in places like Italy and the Netherlands and Germany. And we have seen the Germans actually arrest and kill people that were engaged in espionage and spying for India in Germany. And we just saw that, and I mentioned Australia earlier. Australia as a key Five Eyes partner, a Commonwealth partner with Canada, has also kicked out Indian agents and diplomats engaged in spying. Yeah. So it's happening around the world. Don't enable it. Call it out. This is a rogue nation behavior. This is state-sponsored terrorism, which is being unleashed in the United States and Canada. And I think everyone treats India with kids' gloves, because they're concerned about China's growth in the region, and they want to see India as a bulwark, and they like to pretend that India is a fellow robust democracy. But we have to remember the issue with India right now, especially when it comes to this incident, is that the instructions to engage in this type of transnational repression go straight to the top. That's what Canadian intelligence is saying. Well, it goes right into the hands of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah.
We will definitely be following this story because I think that, as you just can tell by this discussion, that this is definitely going to get more attention as we move forward. Jaskaran Sandhu, board member of the World Sikh Organization, joining us from Canada. We appreciate your time and your insights. Thank you.